Good morning, Salado Youth, Salado Youth families. Hope that you're doing well wherever you are and whenever you are watching this video. So, one of the hard parts about growing up is learning that a lot of the things you learned when you were a child weren't always the whole truth. For example, in second grade, you probably were learning about subtraction, and they told you you can't subtract larger numbers from smaller numbers. Then imagine your surprise in sixth grade when you open your math textbook into the chapter called Negative Numbers, and there is a sentence that says, "Today we will teach you how to subtract larger numbers from smaller numbers." Did they lie to you in second grade? Well, no, you just didn't learn all the story. Today we're going to be delving into the book of Jonah, and I love Jonah. This is an amazing book of the Bible. It has everything. It has giant sea monsters. It has vomiting. It has depression. It has everything. And when we're taught the book of Jonah when we're kids, it's all about the fish that came and swallowed Jonah. And he spent 3 days in the belly of the whale. And if you don't listen to God, you're going to get put in the belly of the whale too if you don't do what he asks you to do. And I mean, that's part of the story, but there's much more to the story that we don't always learn about. Today we will be in Jonah chapter 3, verses 1 through 5 and verse 10. So in this part of the book, Jonah's gotten past all the giant sea creature vomiting stuff, and he's gone to the city of Nineveh as God told him to do. Now, Nineveh was a city of the Assyrians, who were one of the dominant military powers in the Near East at this time. The Assyrians had a really bad reputation. They were brutal in combat. They razed the cities that they attacked. They took people off in chains. They were evil people, and God knew that. And he was wanting them to repent or their city would be destroyed. So this is why he sent Jonah there. So Jonah goes to the city. It says it's a great city. It was 3 days walks across. And we see that Jonah, it says he went into the city a day's walk, and then he began to proclaim his message. So this makes me wonder, what about the people closer to the city gate than the day's walk? Did he not talk to them? What about the other 2/3 he didn't go through? It seems to me Jonah's kind of doing this sort of halfway. He's just getting the message out. He's just telling them 40 days and you're done. And sounds like kind of an angry message, honestly. Not much chance for love here. But the people of Nineveh repent, and God changes his mind about punishing them. This is a surprise, God changing his mind about punishment he's going to give someone. But if you pay attention to the larger story, Jonah already knew that God was sending him. So he already had this idea that God was going to try to change the people's minds. And when they do, it would be unjust for God to punish them, even though they changed their mind. Like, that's ridiculous. So there's already so many surprises in this story. And we tend to think, again, simplistically in terms of Jonah just being about if you don't obey God, bad stuff happens to you. But it's much more than that. Because the people turn, and we're going to move into chapter 4 a little bit. The people turn their lives around. They begin to repent from their sins. And Jonah gets mad about it. He's unhappy that the people he hates and he thinks shouldn't be told about God are changing their minds. And he goes into this deep depression. And he gets mad that God sent him some relief from his depression, and then it was taken away. And the book ends beautifully with a question of, you cared more about your comfort and shade than you did about all of the people in this city. Now that's a message for us today, right? Because honestly, we are living in times that, while they're probably not the hardest in American history, they're probably the hardest that any of us who are alive now remember. I know in my lifetime, this has been some of the roughest times that we've ever seen. We see more political division and hate than we've seen in a long time. We've seen more economic downturn than we've seen in a long time. People are suffering. And when we, as believers, behave like Jonah, when what the world sees of us is that we would rather see our enemies get what's coming to them than see them redeemed, It's hard not to see why they don't want to follow Jesus if that's the kind of people that we are. And I think the book of Jonah is a strong challenge to us in today's times to see ourselves in a new light, to see that we can have this tendency to not want people to be redeemed, but to see them get what they deserve. And this question that God asks us is the same one he's asking Jonah. Do you care more about yourself and your own comfort than you do other people? Ponder that question. Look at it in your life. And I guarantee you, God will show you some places that we all need to work on this. Thank you for watching. Hope this word found you blessed. We will see you soon.